Hi everyone, welcome to BurgBoys. I'm Max,
Darren's.
and this is your weekly dive into the most interesting news with our reactions and takes on what's happening.
So Max, how was your Halloween?
It was quite good. I dressed up as the bear, you know the show The Bear? The chef one. Yeah, with me and my friend, then we bar hopped a bit and then it was quite
What was
nice.
the reaction of people around you? Did they find
Nobody
the
understood the outfit there. I was so disappointed. Like they all like look at me like, are you like K-barbecue or what? I was like, no, this is from the show The Chef.
But how drunk were you?
I was alright, I think. Honestly, all things considered, right, it was a very tame night, to be honest. Rather tame, but I'm going to take a sabbatical from drinking for a while. I think I told you this the other day also.
Yeah, I mean he tells me this every week. And then in the end it's like 3 times, 4 times when he ends up drinking.
No lah. Actually, hey, don't tell people the wrong thing. I will drink maximum once a week.
Yeah, but this week he's all in on his work.
Yeah, I'm so locked in. Why?
Yeah.
I think because the project ending, right? So it's like, I want to close it off well.
Yeah.
My sense of responsibility.
Yeah, he's only hardworking on the last week, guys.
Yo told your way, bro. The first week and last week I worked damn hard.
I hope our colleagues don't see this.
No, I work hard all the time. They
So
also-
actually today's article, right, I think it's particularly relevant for you. In fact, I wanted to seek your counsel as well.
Don't seek my counsel. You make it sound like some expert. I'm not. I don't claim expertise or anything.
So this topic is crypto related. So of course, we've been reading a lot of articles, right?
Yep.
I think we also
Yep.
send each other a lot of articles that obviously the stablecoin volumes have been exploding from a market cap
Yes.
standpoint, from a
Yes.
transaction value standpoint,
Yep.
have been basically rocketing upwards.
Correct.
However, the Ethereum price is like no man's land, and I see so many liquidation. I mean, especially on X, you see all the Binance liquidation on for
Correct.
Ethereum. So what's going on? Why is there this it hit almost an all-time high, almost coming to 5,000, and then right now it's back at 3.7,
3.8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great question because I think for me, a lot of people like to tie Ethereum to some kind of global events, right? But for me, I maybe want to share a bit more about fundamentally how this market works in terms of the traders and everybody, right? So I think what people tend to kind of forget is that there's always this Ethereum is heavily leveraged. Crypto itself is heavily leveraged industry. So we have people that do a lot of leverage trades, be it longs or shorts, right? And we're not talking about 1x, 2x, 3x. We're talking about 25x, 30x, 50x, right? So when these shorts are shorts or longs are liquidated, right? It's a domino effect. It's a huge effect. And also I think what people also tend to kind of forget a bit is that now that because crypto has become quite, how do I say, modernized, right? But actually there were a lot of people that were first movers. They are, in this industry they call them whales, right? They hold bags and bags of different types of crypto, be it Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. And they honestly have the power to kind of push the market in certain directions that they want.
So basically, you think there's a lot of market manipulation. To summarize what you're saying,
Correct.
So you're telling me that the whales are basically manipulating the market.
There's a lot of manipulation in the market. There's a lot of insider info going on, and there are also the traders themselves are not helping the situation by trading rather kind of maybe perhaps not the best risk kind of behavior. You know what I'm saying? So that they're kind of a bit reckless. So. You won't see 50x trading in stocks, right? Bill Huang, right? Who else? I don't know, but so the market is unregulated. There's too much movement. People can make random trades on Saturdays, Sundays. The market opens 24/7. You never know. So I think this is also a very core fundamental driver for this. And I also feel like this structure, the way that this kind of crypto is distributed, will be that case moving forward, right? Like why would the whales ever give up this portion?
Yeah. So as a retail trader, right, for someone who's listening, who's also who's a crypto enthusiast, right?
Yeah.
How should they go about thinking? Let's say today I have a long-term conviction of course of the asset class, right? Ethereum and the overall crypto industry, right? How should I build my conviction for this? Because of course a lot of what the traders are doing are short-term movements, right? So that to sort of make a short-term gain. But if let's say today fundamentally we believe in that the long-term use case, right?
Yep.
How should I go about building that conviction that okay, I can stay in the markets and have that kind of mental grounding? These are the indicators that tell me that the asset class is doing well.
So yeah, I think loaded question. But so the focus is on primarily Ethereum, right?
I think Ethereum is the asset that you seem to have the highest conviction. Hence,
I have quite a bit of conviction.
Hence, that's the reason why I
Yeah, but first of all, before we continue, I am no expert, right? I don't claim to be one also. I'm just sharing what my thoughts and what Terrence and I discuss quite frequently also lah. But I think there are two developments that I would say are very promising that you should look at. I think number one would be stablecoins, and number two is the development of more layer 2 projects lah. I think. Okay, so I'll start with stablecoin first. So think think of Ethereum, to put it very simply, think of Ethereum as kind of like a blockchain, right? And the way it works is that a lot of people ask this, they say like, oh, Ethereum is never deflationary, blah, blah. That's not actually true. What happens is that, think about it this way, when there's more demand, more transactions happening on this Ethereum, on the block, the gas fees increase, it becomes naturally deflationary. Think about just don't think about the integrity. It's just this is how it's gonna be. Number two is that when there is less demand, the gas fees is lower to entice people to use the blockchain more. So, and we hear a lot from institutions and whatever is that a lot of people are saying, okay, you know what, I'm gonna start doing my trades using stable coins, USDT. I'm gonna start issuing bonds in stable coins or whatever, etc. So this means that stable coin is gonna be a key financial channel for all these transactions happening on Ethereum. So more stablecoin technically would actually translate into more activity and more transactions happening on the Ethereum blockchain, more demand, naturally deflationary, naturally more burn, and also just more demand in general pump the price up also, right? And also there's also the element of that, of the layer 2. And so on why layer 2 is also for me is a big drive for me is because one of the biggest complaints, about Ethereum, what people always say, maybe Solana is better, maybe AVAX is better, maybe all these other layer 1s are better, it's because of the slow transaction speed. And layer 2s, they tend to work to just primarily solve the problem. There's a recent launch called Mega ETH that are very oversubscribed ICO. And people buy into the hype because they feel like this is the major roadblock for Ethereum. Is it wrong or right? I'm not too sure. But definitely it's a key, it's a key thing that people are trying to solve. So how does layer 2 help? Here's where it gets a bit confusing because logically, if you think about it, right, layer 2s is like think about it simply, right, it's a bridge away from the main chain. So actually it takes the transaction out of Ethereum, does the transaction and then goes back into Ethereum to validate, right? So people will be like, actually doesn't that technically reduce demand on Ethereum, blah, blah, demand gas fees?
Yeah, that's also one of the criticism that the value accrual is now to the L2s.
The value accrual is now to the L2s, right? But I think what the layer 2s, what people do not factor in, perhaps, and what I'm thinking about is the fact that if you can run your Uniswap, which is your first decentralized exchange on Ethereum, all this, right? Uniswap, all your swap, right? All your DEXs, your crypto games, blah, 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 all on a very, very ubiquitous layer 2. That end value, right? They still have to go back to the main chain of Ethereum, right? The demand for ETH in general at the end goes up.
Yeah.
A lot.
So basically you're saying that the net transaction on the main layer 1 will still increase as long as all the stable coins transaction keep on going upwards.
Yeah.
Right? Number of stable coin go upwards.
Correct.
It's like, yes, a lot of course the layer 2 will capture some value.
Yeah.
But you think that ultimately that because of the exponential growth, invariably ETH will become critical as a
main layer 1 enabler, right? And I mean just to also close this thought is thinking about it, like imagine you tell a developer, hey, I want you to create a game on Ethereum, right? Imagine Vitalik tells some developer, I want to create this game on Ethereum. I love what you've done in the past, but hey, look, I do one in-game transaction, it takes me 12 seconds, 14 seconds. The developer himself also don't want to create. But now I'm telling you, with, I don't know, maybe Mega ETH, I don't know which layer 2 is going to actually make it happen, but I'm going to tell you now it's going to be a 0.001 second. The incentive now for developer to build an app is there now. A lot of things have now become much more, the people see the commercial viability. So people will build more, the ecosystem continues to grow, and the net gain will always be on ETH platform. So that's how I see it happening.
So okay, I mean maybe enough for the explaining.
Yeah.
What's your price
because
prediction?
of these I see.
So year-end targets for ETH. I mean we have only 2 months to, it's a bit slightly unfair to you because obviously right we look at this long term.
Yeah.
But I mean just for fun, any year-end targets and maybe sort of like next 24 months, next year-end target.
I think I honestly think
what's best case basically?
What's best case?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's a number you have in mind? Like you think it's something that can be achieved. Like set a time, set a number.
Okay, I think next 2 months, right? And don't crucify this video. Don't go and dislike this video if I'm wrong. But I think next 2 months, not much change. I actually think it's gonna bounce around this range of 3.8 to 4.1 for a while. Okay, and then I think the big shift, or maybe what people like to call altcoin cycle, and I don't even know if there's going to be a case anymore, given so much Bitmine, all this institutional focus. But I see by maybe the end of Q1, early Q2, ETH is probably around, I like to be 13K, 14K USD.
It's about 4x from now.
4x from now. And I think that's a super reasonable goal. Given how previous cycles, have shown even greater returns. And all I'm saying is because I think with all this new focus from institutions, right, they're not going to allow the asset to pump crazy and then dip crazy. They're not going to allow asset to dip crazy also. They're not going to allow that to happen. They're going to do some safeguards. I don't know how, but I think that's a realistic path to do. Maybe not Q2, maybe Q3, I don't know, maybe end June, but it will happen.
If it hits 13, 14K?
No.
So you're right all the way. So fundamentally, you believe the long term is going even more than 13 to 14. Hence, that's why you're not selling, right? There can only be one reason why you're not selling. It's because you have so then what's the 2030 target for you?
Of all the 2030 target,
because if you believe 13, 14, you're not letting go. It can't be you're waiting for 25K in 2030.
I think 2030 is 45K for one. I tell you, I'm delusional. And sometimes as a crypto guy, people always say you have low IQs, and partially that's true lah. No, but if you think about it, right, Terence, I'm sure you also kept up with the industry. Like of all the layer ones, besides Solana, besides Binance Chain, what else?
Yeah, I think my biggest concern is how value get accrued.
Yes.
For me, I still have. I'm still not very clear on that.
Yes, and I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think for me that's my major concern. But I do agree with you. I think the logic is sound. Like ultimately, let's say with 10x the amount of stablecoins that we have, 10x the amount of transactions we have, invariably that we should see. The importance of the network, right? So.
What do you share with me at the time? What's the stablecoin market cap now?
I think it's 300 billion, 400 billion.
Imagine it hits 1 trillion, which is that crazy? To be honest,
it's not. Probably.
It's not crazy. What's the money supply now? Come on.
Investment want to get it to 2 trillion.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just think this is the movement lah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me I there's one perhaps a catalyst for the industry is the market structure bill. So we have the Genius Act that's coming. So perhaps once we get a market structure bill, we could have more clarity, definitions on what's the asset. Also, then that would drive the institutional adoption.
Correct.
Because I think institutions a lot of times they need that regulatory clarity before they can do a lot of things.
Yes.
So perhaps I think that could be one catalyst.
Yeah.
That really helps to drive that kind of adoption. So maybe just pivoting, right? I think we talk a lot about Ethereum, but just broadly in the industry, right? Any other key trends? Maybe we don't go to so deep dive lah. But just any other key interesting trends that we should note. And then if you have any more price predictions on those trends, that would be great as well.
Okay, I think one of the ones that stood out to me, and I think this has been mentioned even just 1 year ago, actually 2 years ago, it's been there for quite a while, but it's about the real world asset tokenization. So a lot of people are saying they're starting with actually real estate. Tokenizing parts of real estate. There are some projects right now that are actually working on that and trying to get it into the market. I'm not sure it's already live or not, but that's one that actually caught my eye.
Actually, I this is where I am happy to just debate lah. I disagree. I don't think real estate is the easiest asset to do RWA, real tokenization.
Why so?
I feel like the easier asset will be a stock. Because it's already technically you transition a unit online already, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You buy a stock. So that fundamentally, it's rather than you have a 9 to 5.
Correct.
Stock market open 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 4:30, depending on which market you look at.
You have 24/7.
Now you have 24/7. Then the market can trade. In fact, probably a further value add could be private companies. Let's say today you are illiquid because you hold some of the private companies that are privately valued, right?
Correct.
You can potentially lease some of your.
No, that's a good point.
So
Yeah.
I think actually company trading I think would be more efficient because ultimately for real estate, like, there's also a question: do you trade one unit of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Partial unit. There's I don't really know how it's going to operate as well. And let's say today you own it, then someone
you own 0.03 of this apartment, then
and I'm wondering because there's so much more legal process when you buy a house today than you buy a stock. Like I buy a stock today, I go to the app, I press.
Correct.
But buy a house, there's whole regulatory process that you need to go through, conveyancing and stuff like that. I wonder how easy is it to do. I mean, I know there's a smart contracts and all that, but I struggle with visualizing how the process will work.
Yeah, and like what you said, I think for like if you're doing stock trading, right, the backbone platform is already there. Right, be it Oanda or IBKR, there's already some kind of online kind of system there. It's just about kind of having like a ramp to integrate your crypto.
Think about all the manipulation that's happening. So you notice Donald Trump like to always announce something after market closing, and then before the market open, right?
You announce something again.
You announce something. So it's basically right. The futures market will just go haywire. And then actually when you know, so that he sort of like don't disrupt the market. So
Correct,
with a
correct.
24/7 market,
You can't do that.
then you be more careful with what you say.
Yeah, yeah.
More, you know, you can catapult the market downwards anytime. But of course, there's its risk as well because, like you said, right, then you want to. It's harder. You need to have more people to monitor, and you need
Correct,
safeguards within the system as well from potentially manipulating some of the smaller caps. You know.
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
So, what about? I mean, just maybe some final words. Of course, crypto is a very popular
Oh yeah,
industry.
sorry. I just mentioned the
Yeah.
other two trends I'm looking at. I
Yeah,
think number 2 is perpetual DEX, perpetual decentralized exchanges. That's one I'm looking at
Are
also.
you investing in any sort of perpetual DEX?
There's 2 that's catching my eye, and I'm pretty sure people that are with the industry will know which one I'm talking about. One is backed by Binance Labs. The other one is came out quite recently and doing quite well. The last one is AI coin lah. Which I think is absolute sham. I look into it. I just don't see any future for it because right now, even your own Perplexity, your own AI softwares, they're still developing, refining. You know, what is crypto going to do for this? You have to guys have to understand that in the previous cycle, people kept saying crypto for gaming, blah blah blah. Almost nothing substantial has materialized from that yet. Yeah, so I just don't think this will be a near term thing as well lah. Yeah.
So it seems like, you know, like just maybe some final words on crypto, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's very popular amongst the younger generation as well.
Correct.
So, any sort of like ending words on
I think
some of
crypto
the
is
price action so that it gives people to give people some comfort, I guess.
Imagine this podcast go off, then the Ethereum plus 5%. No, but I
Then
think
your
crypto-
price prediction just looks wrong because you say by year end it's going to be the range.
Exactly. I have to shut up.
Yeah.
No, but I think crypto is it's a nice wealth growth asset, lah, right? But I think it's suitable for people that perhaps have lesser liabilities, right, and a bit more younger in terms of the age. You remember the time we discussed for the last podcast? We're talking about how age and time horizon matters. So I think for this case, same. If you're
But Michael Saylor is such a big proponent. He's way older than both of us.
That's true. Actually, I didn't realize he quite old. Okay,
Yeah.
Michael Saylor young at heart.
Mike Novogratz also is way older than us.
They're all young at heart. Tom Lee young
Tom
at
Lee.
heart. Young at heart.
Yeah. So the one pushing the industries are the old guys. You know,
Yeah,
Larry
yeah,
Fink,
yeah.
the BlackRock guy.
And I guess they have a lot of it's credentialized like in a sense.
Yeah, I mean
'cause they're
they got their success in a different industry.
exactly, and then now they
people-
tell you this is the one, then people tend to listen to
Yeah.
it also.
For me, I think why that crypto is still important to be within your portfolio is quite simply, you see today the markets are a lot driven by the world leaders, their view on
Yep.
how the world should look like.
Yep.
Clearly, there's a strong push by the current world leadership to make this a big industry, right?
Agree.
That it's dominating conversations. They comment about it very regularly. They comment their bullish stance. So to not take a view or to not be involved, I think it's
Missing out somehow lah.
I think it's missing out. And this, I mean, you don't have to go all in like Max, but I do think that you definitely have to take a good enough position in your portfolio to make sure that you capture those upside. I mean, if there's a downside, I mean, I'm sure your portfolio will overweight. I mean, if let's say today you have a bunch of other in the index or whatever, you'll help
It'll
you
be
balance it out.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
But at least have some exposure.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Or any final words on this, or shall we move to the next topic?
No, I realized I should have dressed up as an Ethereum thing as for Halloween.
You should wear orange tie.
Yeah, right.
That's
Oh my
my
god, I
concern.
missed out on the opportunity. Next year.
Or I think you can shave your head like CZ.
He gave me his bank account also.
Then you can put
I put a handcuff.
Okay, so
Yep.
this is more pivoting back to some local news. This involves our our two universities in Singapore, NUS and NTU.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So they have put up advisory telling any sort of prospective overseas students that not to use any sort of the guaranteed admission that some of the Chinese social media platforms, some of the companies that advertise on these platforms are saying that they can get students guaranteed admissions to our postgraduate programs.
Okay.
And apparently some of this agency mentioned that they get up to 1,000 students in annually to
That's crazy.
guaranteed. So clearly what is suggested here is that a lot of these are getting into fraudulent means. That basically I'm not sure whether they fake certain documents.
Yeah, or fix
so
certain
that-
grades, sorry.
Exactly, to get those students in. So as an alumni, you know, what do you feel about this?
I feel like
Shocking?
No, I think my first thought is actually on why NUS is sending out this publicity report, because I think like more it should be like they should be checking internally, right? Like who is allowing this to happen? What is the gap? They should be figuring this out. You put this out, it's like asking someone, how will any student listen to this? There's like no penalty. Like there's no.
No, the penalty is that they're going to expel you immediately if they find out.
If they find out, right?
Yeah.
And then the question will be like, will they find out if they find out?
Yeah. Actually, doing some mental math is quite crazy because apparently some of this agency was set up in 2017. So this has been going on for 8 years. And they say that they get students in about 1,000 annually.
So, okay, 1,000 annually, that's 8,000 students.
I mean,
Let's say
potentially. We don't know, right? Potentially. Total market like could be 8,000.
Each student 4K.
I mean, it's beyond the money. It's more of an integrity thing.
Yeah. Like how many people did I see when I was an undergraduate that perhaps
how many people working in
it?
Singapore today got into fraudulent means?
Shoot.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a huge question, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I think, to be honest, this kind of things always... do you think it affects the reputation of NTUS and NTU? I mean, even by putting this out, right?
It does.
It's actually... I think, impacts prospective candidates who want
I
to
mean,
come here.
for me, I hate it, but you know, when you go to a new workplace, they'll be like, oh, this guy former NUS grad.
Yeah.
Or this guy former NTU grad, or whatever. So I think it definitely plays a part in the perception, right?
Yeah, and I think primarily it feels like some of these postgraduate NUS, NTU, the main targets are also international students. I mean, it's very rarely I heard of anyone saying they're going to do a master's in NUS, NTU.
Never, almost never, to be honest.
Yeah, like once you're done with undergrad, sayonara.
Yeah,
or
correct,
go
correct.
overseas to do your masters.
Correct.
Right, you don't, so...
Interesting development now, lah.
Should we sell compliance services?
For schools only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think, right, I mean, on a broader question, I just want to ask also, do you think this implies that there's a pay-to-win kind of culture or like setup in Singapore?
I think pay to win is it's a fact of life.
Okay.
But for me I see it as two scenarios, right? So today you pay to win, but say you come from a well-off family. I mean, like Donald Trump, all that, right?
Yep.
They attend all these Ivy League schools because their family could like donate or to the school.
All this money, correct.
But the school knows of that caliber of that student. They accepted that situation with like
open arms, right?
With knowing all the fact.
Yeah.
So there's no
okay.
integrity issue here.
Fair.
Right. But let's say today you get admitted, faking your admission, your grades and stuff like that. There's an integrity issue here.
Yeah.
So I think it's yes, I think pay to win is for sure truth of life. But there's difference between pay to win and then pure fraudulent and in like
fair
breaking the rules.
Fair.
Yeah.
And also just curious, like, you know, in this case, right, what do you think is a key driver for these foreign students to pursue masters, given that our locals don't really do it? But then what do you think they want to do it?
I think good job to the local universities for marketing themselves well. I mean, international rankings. Maybe they want to work in Singapore. I mean, admire your reasons. You know what I mean? Like, be closer to home. I believe, my suspicion, of course I don't have that numbers, is that the majority of the students are probably China, India.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but not surprising, they are the biggest two nations, right? And
correct.
and one is, I think it's probably more affordable than the US, the UK, Australia as well. And it's nearer to home as well. So there's a price, it's probably more affordable.
Yeah.
Secondly, closer to home. Thirdly, also probably want to get a job here.
Yeah, I think to be fair, the employers in Singapore, if you have a local degree, they're more open to it. Just naturally, like, as a candidate. Right. Yeah, that's true also.
I don't think it's if let's say today an employer sees a bachelor's, let's say like for someone like you who did your undergraduate in Singapore,
Correct.
right, versus a master's from overseas student coming to do a master's, right? They see them any differently lah.
Yeah.
But I think it's for them to get an entry here so that they potentially can interview locally and stuff like that. So that
correct.
The reality is that you interview remotely over Zoom, it's not going to be the same as being here
in person,
networking here.
Yeah, it's
right,
big difference.
because you form local connections as well.
True.
I think it's more likely for you to stay. But for me, it's I don't know how. I mean, it begs the question also if university like NUS, NTU with supposedly the budget to be able to check, right? It's like that. I wonder globally, how many universities out there also potentially have fraudulent admissions as well.
I mean, I know my friend back then in secondary school. On a lighter topic, he paid to enter the IB program. Yeah, paid quite a big sum of money to enter also, and it was actually not a publicized thing until one of his inner circle leaked it lah. Yeah, and then like everyone found out, and then the initial knee-jerk reaction from everyone in the circle was like, "Wow, you don't deserve it," all this kind of stuff. But,
I mean, but that's a fact of life.
it is
But I think for university it's slightly different.
Slightly different.
Because I think there's you see, arguably if like you pay to do A level somewhere or international baccalaureate somewhere, it's no different because you can go to do it in international schools, you can pay in also.
Yeah,
or some
correct,
private school overseas.
Yeah.
And ultimately you need to take the standardized test.
Yeah. I mean, you still have to put in the work after you get it.
Correct.
Right? But it's just that, were you qualified to even go in the first
Yeah,
place?
so I think but for universities, oftentimes it's the brand of the school that matters, not really the whatever you graduate in. Especially postgrad. No one asks what's your degree for, but it's just I have a master's in something.
Yeah.
It's not like bachelor's where they may ask, okay, what's your degree classification?
Correct. You just say I have a
Right.
master's from NUS.
I heard you got a third class honours, right? I'm just kidding.
Hey, you know what? It's quite bad. I think my GPA was really quite bad. To be honest, I'm surprised
Hey, better don't say.
Okay, I better don't say.
Because
I
our
better don't
company is quite elitist.
How do I
good
say?
then say.
No,
bad
I
don't say.
paid this company to. No, I yeah.
Pay them Ethereum.
No, but my O level was okay. I can share my O level lah.
You shared already, I think, previously. Oh no, I
No,
think
my O level net 18 bro.
Oh.
You know O level net 18. You know what I do or not?
What?
I still go and apply ACJC first choice. My
I-
mother say I crazy, but you know what? Men must be delusional sometimes. I go and just shoot a shot.
You're a confident man. So, any final words on this?
No, I do hope NUS sorts this out though, because to be fair, I do see this can easily proliferate to be a very big problem. You know what I'm saying? Like not just postgraduate, but even undergraduate level. Who's to say this is not happening at that level?
No, undergraduate is because we use the system to apply.
But you never know like.
No, for international students, you mean?
Yeah, international student.
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
my-
That was what he was thinking. Just a slip of mine, just trying to make a point.
Yeah, okay, fine. International student.
Okay, so
Yeah, but I hope they fix it lah. You know, to be fair. Yeah.
I think that's all for today lah.
And that's all for today.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We'll come back to the gym vid very soon. We'll come back to it lah.
Very soon.
Yeah, we'll come back before.
Perhaps there'll be some format changes in the coming weeks, depending on because we are both due to work schedules, we might have to do this remotely. But let's see.
Yeah, let us know your feelings about the new format as well. So drop a comment below.
Cool.
Alright, thanks guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.